Hi everyone. What I'd like to do in this video is give you a short orientation to performance testing. So first of all, I want you to be aware that there's no standard vocabulary in use within the performance testing community. So different companies, different people will have different terms that they use to describe similar things. And it all depends on who's using the terms as to what they mean. So just be careful with that and don't trip up over different names being used for something that you may be looking at. With one piece of software, a different piece of software might call it something different. One thing that often gets named different things by different people is a performance test. Some call any such test a load test. Others call it a performance test. Some people refer to a load test as being a very specific type of performance test. So watch out for that. What is load testing or performance testing? According to Wikipedia, the term load testing is used in different ways in the professional software testing community. Load testing generally refers to the practice of modeling the expected usage of a software program by simulating multiple users accessing the program. What this boils down to is in software, creating artificial or virtual users to go to the site and use it just like real users would. You can use different numbers of virtual users. You can have them run different scripts, and therefore you can really get the information that you're looking for and find out how these things are going to respond or perform before they're actually put into that situation in the real world. Accordingly, there were different types of tests. So if we call everything a performance test, you can use performance as the umbrella term. There are types of tests like capacity testing, spike testing, endurance testing, which is also called soak testing, volume testing, which is more concerned with large amounts of data in the database, load testing, and stress testing. And there are many more. This is just a representative list. Who benefits from performance testing? Okay, anybody that has a website or a web application and wants to make sure the application is not going to throw errors under load, and that the application will stay stable. Anybody that wants to make sure that the website is going to be able to handle an expected or even unexpected heavy load. So, for example, if you have a marketing campaign coming up, and you know you're going to have 3 or 4 times the number of people coming to your site that you normally do, you'll want to test to make sure that that is not going to either cause your system to crash or cause it to perform so slowly that people leave your site and have a bad impression. Also, performance testing can help you to tune your site to perform optimally, and that should always be a goal. Typical consumers of testing. So one of the big ones, retailers have used load testing for a long time to make sure that their sites will stay up and perform well during the holiday rush. So that's one. Healthcare companies, insurance sites, basically everyone else. If your site is growing in popularity, you're going to want to know when you need to change providers or increase the number of servers that are assigned to your application, or the amount of memory, or any of those things. So it's always good to have those answers before it becomes critical. And load testing is a lot like an insurance policy. So it's good to run, but a lot of people don't run them until after they've experienced a bad effect from not doing it. Okay, and one final question I want to look at in this video is, how often should you test? And my answer is going to be as often as possible. There are reasons to test your code at every step of the application's lifecycle. Anytime that you're going to be adding new code or modifying code and then releasing that change to production, you want to make sure that everything works as you think it's going to. You want to make sure that when you upgrade your application server software, that you're not going backwards in terms of performance, but forwards. A couple of examples. I've had customers come to me and say, we're using version 7 of this software, but we've been told to go to version 9, and that we're going to experience twice the performance if we go from 7 to 9. So one thing you can do is test the site at version 7, and then test it again at 9 and compare. And then you will know just what kind of performance change there was, if any. You're going to want to test before expected spikes in traffic. If you know there's a huge marketing campaign going out, if you know that your CEO is going to be talking on national television and a lot of people might be coming to your site because of that, those are expected spikes, and you should be, very conscious of what that is going to do in terms of site performance and stability. Do you need to do additional things to prepare for that spike in traffic? And then at each stage of an application's life cycle, I think that it's a good thing to test when, in the smallest increments possible. Test out each function, test out each section of your application to make sure that they all work separately as well as they can. And then you also want to run tests that test out everything working together. So that's great. And then before any hardware or network changes, you want to make sure that you're not hurting yourself with those as well. So test it out and make sure that everything is going to perform well. So that's it for the orientation, but I may put out a part 2 to this video and dig a little bit deeper into the types of tests that you can run and what types of questions they answer. Thank you very much.